This is the book talk on narrative nonfiction, which is including everything from memoirs to biographies to autobiographies. So, true stories written sometimes by the people experiencing these things, and other times being interviewed and having that story written about them. Before we get into our presentation today, just wanted to share that we are doing a spring reading challenge right now. If you are feeling a little bit stuck in your reading or just want some new ways to challenge yourself, you might want to check out our spring reading bingo challenge. It can be found on Schoology or on the library homepage. Lots of different options here, everything from reading a recipe and making something to reading the captions on a favorite movie or TV show. So lots of different ways to read, not just a book, but audiobooks and different options, ways to get yourself reading in different formats. Once you have completed a row on the bingo sheet, you are welcome to turn that in to me electronically or by printing it out and bring it down to the library. And you are eligible for some prize winnings if you complete that sheet. So good luck and have fun with challenging yourself on some of that reading. The book talk starts today with this book titled My Survival, A Girl on Schindler's List by Raina Finder. And we're going to hear from this experience in the video here in just a moment. Raina was only 11 when the Nazis forced her and her family, along with many other Jewish families, into a ghetto in Krakow, Poland. Let's take a look to find out more.
I am a survivor of the Holocaust, and I survived because I was on Schindler's List. In 1939, Germany invaded Poland, and the war began. It happened so quick, and I remember how scary it was. The Jewish children were not allowed to go to school. Then the Jewish people were not allowed to own their businesses. And I remember standing there. And we had to leave. It was the only place I knew. And so the day came that my mom and I were sent to work for Oskar Schindler. He took over a factory. He used all the money on us to make sure that we had enough food. If it was not for Oskar Schindler, there is no way that anyone would survive. We thought we were going to Brünitz, where Oskar Schindler moved his factory. When the train finally stopped and the doors opened, we realized this was not Brünitz. We were in Auschwitz. And I remember we were thirsty, so thirsty, and we thought it was snowing. So we reached our hands to try to get some snowflakes. There was no snowflakes, those were ashes. Oskar Schindler said, I have to do something. Don't ever say there is nothing you can do, because there is always some things one can do. That's how Oskar Schindler felt. Oskar Schindler could not stand by and watch innocent people being killed. You can look for my...
I really like the last part of what she said, which is, of course, that at any point, thinking that we can't do anything because we're just one person, is not the message that she wants anybody to have, but just that any one person can make a difference. Take a look at My Survival, A Girl on Schindler's List, her memoir, in our nonfiction section. Another nonfiction read, but this one found in our graphic novels section. I know many of you have already picked this one up, but if you haven't, it is fantastic. When Stars Are Scattered by Victoria Jameson and Omar Mohammed. This story was told to Victoria Jameson. She's one that is a graphic novel writer. She wrote Roller Girl, among a few others. And Omar Mohammed, a former Somali refugee, tells her his true story. Omar and his younger brother Hassan have spent most of their lives in a refugee camp in Kenya. And he is telling his story about living there where life is really hard. There's never enough food. There's not enough access to the medical care that Omar knows that his nonverbal brother really needs. And so Omar, when given this opportunity to attend school, he knows it could be a chance to change their future, but it would also mean leaving his brother, the only family member that he has left, every single day. And in this book, you'd get a chance to find out how that all plays out in his life. When Stars Are Scattered, a story with some hope and gentle humor as well as heartbreak. Take a look at this one in our graphic novels. Be Fearless by Michaela Ulmer, a story of a girl who took an experience that maybe some of you have had, actually, at least initially. She, at the age of 4, was stung by a bee twice in 1 week, and it really freaked her out. She became terrified of going outside, and so her parents encouraged her to use that fear as a way of trying to find out more information. They decided, well, maybe, Michaela, if you learn more about bees, you won't be quite so afraid. Well, she didn't just stop there at learning what an important role bees play in the ecosystem. She also learned about how bees are endangered, and she decided she wanted to set out to save them. She began by selling cups of lemonade in front of her house, and she was donating the proceeds that she made to organizations dedicated to bee conservation. She realized that the more lemonade that she sold, of course, the more bees she could help, and this became a business. She founded the company, Me and the Bees Lemonade, and became really quite the entrepreneur. And in this book, you learn about how she secures a deal on Shark Tank. She visits Obama in the White House, and it's this passion in pursuing her, her venture here, and as well as sharing some really helpful tips and guidance for you as teens if you want to become an entrepreneur yourself. She encourages you to dream like a kid and never underestimate what you can do. This book is a fabulous read. Be fearless. Find out how she did it and how you might do the same in this read. Path to the Stars by Sylvia Acevedo. She's going to talk in this brief interview about how her journey from Girl Scouts to rocket scientists shaped her life.
My name is Sylvia Acevedo. I'm CEO of the Girl Scouts of the USA. And also, right now, I'm the proud author of Path to the Stars, Camino a las Estrellas. It's really my journey from Girl Scouts to being a rocket scientist. One of the pivotal parts of the book is when I got introduced to Girl Scouts and how I learned that Girl Scouts could really help me learn how to create opportunity. And to somebody being raised in poverty, understanding that you could create your own opportunity, you can make your dreams come true was a whole new idea. So I had the opportunity to study to be an engineer. I was so grateful that I had the opportunity to work at NASA, Jet Propulsion Labs, as a rocket scientist working on 2 missions. Right now, the U.S. is dramatically changing in the composition of our communities, and you need to have leaders from every community. And right now, 1 in 4 of our youth are Latino. So we need to have a much greater number of Latino leaders. And Alpha is the crown jewel of that. Alpha represents the leadership pipeline for America. So I am so grateful for the relationship Girl Scouts has with Alpha, because we're going to make sure that there are plenty of Latina leaders for the rising generation of America.
Cool lady, cool book. Check it out. Path to the Stars. You are probably familiar with the sinking of the Titanic, but my guess would be that you don't know about this boat's sinking. Torpedoed by Deborah Heiligman is a true account of the attack and sinking of this passenger ship. During all of the violence and the German bombings that were taking place during World War II, British parents by the thousands were choosing to send their children out of the country to keep them safe. And in September of 1940, this passenger liner, the SS City of Benares, which later became known as the Children's Ship, set sail for Canada with 100 children on board. Well, a German submarine torpedoed it, and this is their story. Read it to find out exactly what happened and why. My last book to share with you today, if you can imagine leaving your family behind at the age of 9 and moving to another country to live with another family to get a life-changing operation. If you can put yourself in this young lady's 2 feet. Her Own 2 Feet by Meredith Davis and Rebecca Owatanzi is the story of Rebecca. She was born in Rwanda with curled, twisted feet, which meant that she had to crawl or get carried around because she wasn't able to walk. At 9 years old, she got an offer that was going to change her life because a doctor in the United States was maybe going to be able to turn her feet and make it such that she would be able to eventually walk. But it was going to mean leaving her own family in Rwanda behind and going to America by herself. And that is exactly what she did. She traveled from Rwanda to Austin, Texas. She joined the Davis family despite knowing almost no English. And this is her story of bravery and a joyful spirit that carried her to the opportunity of a lifetime. Check out this book and how things went for Rebecca in Her Own 2 Feet. I hope that one of the books I shared in this book talk inspires you, and that one of these narrative nonfiction books might be one you'd like to check out or put on hold. We do have lots of narrative nonfiction in our library, of course. You can always come down to our biography section, which is in the 921s of the nonfiction area. We also, on the Destiny Discover catalog, have as one of our collection buttons a narrative nonfiction section. So you can look there for plenty of other titles as well. And as always, when you bring your iPad down to the library, we can show you how to find that. Thanks so much for your attention. Happy reading.